855-581-6858 today. Spectrum Business, made to work.
Got some soup for you.
You are loved. You are valued. You are resilient. You got this.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides at aarp.org/caregiving.
I'm Carla Redditt. Here's your Spectrum News in 90. Donald Trump returned to X, formerly known as Twitter, on Monday. Elon Musk is holding a live conversation with the former president on the platform tonight. Trump was banned from Twitter following the January 6th Capitol attack before being reinstated in 2022 by Musk. As we near the November election, former House Speaker Mike McCarthy says Trump should focus on Kamala Harris's political record.
And you've got to make this race not on personalities. Stop questioning the size of her crowds and start questioning her position when it comes to what did she do as Attorney General on crime.
Governor Tim Walz will participate in his first solo campaign events this week. He is expected to address union members in Los Angeles on Tuesday. Meanwhile, we are a week away from the Democratic National Convention. The White House says President Biden will use his speech to highlight unity within the party. The U.S. is sending a submarine armed with cruise missiles to the Middle East. Israel is bracing for retaliation from Iran after the assassination of two key political leaders. The potential threat has many officials worried of a wider conflict.
It will affect the lives of every person on this planet in terms of inflationary pressures, joblessness, and despair.
Now, your weather on the ones.
I'm meteorologist Ian Cassette, leading our weather headlines. Decent rain possible across the center of the country into the plains and the Midwest. St. Louis up to northern Illinois, extended westward into Kansas. All could pick up inches of rain with a slow-moving system passing through over the next few days. But to the south, it's all about the heat. Feels like temperatures surge back into the triple digits along the Gulf Coast from San Antonio all the way to Tampa. Coming up in the next 10 minutes, we'll dive more into this weather pattern and the tropics on Weather in the Ones.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Carla Redditt in for Sharon Taswell. Well, it's a full sprint ahead for both former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris, as there are less than 3 months until the November election. Earlier today, Trump posted on X for the first time since posting his mugshot from the election subversion case in Georgia in August of last year. And tonight he's having a live conversation with Elon Musk on the platform. Spectrum's Ariel Wessler kicks off our 2024 decision coverage as the race for the White House heats up.
A top ally of Donald Trump is offering some pointed advice to the former president. Start focusing on the issues.
Stop questioning the size of her crowds and start questioning her position when it comes to what did she do as Attorney General on crime. Question what did she do when she was supposed to take care of the border as a czar. Question that they brought inflation.
The criticism Monday by former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy on Fox News reflects frustration among some Republicans that Trump is being distracted by side issues, while the Democrats' nominee, Vice President Kamala Harris, has been climbing in the polls since she replaced President Joe Biden atop the party's ticket.
She hasn't done an interview. She can't do an interview. She's barely competent.
McCarthy wants the former president to start attacking Harris on her positions, which he says have drastically shifted over the years.
She has the biggest flip-flop with the most extreme positions.
Trump will hold a live conversation with tech billionaire Elon Musk Monday evening on Musk's platform X, formerly known as Twitter. The Tesla and SpaceX owner endorsed Trump shortly after the assassination attempt on the former president. Musk says his conversation with Trump will be unscripted and no subjects will be off limits, urging people to submit questions and comments. On Wednesday, Trump will hold a rally in Asheville, North Carolina, focused on the economy. Harris will travel to Maryland on Thursday for her first joint appearance with President Biden since he ended his re-election campaign. The theme of the event, lowering costs for Americans. Ariel Wessler, Spectrum News.
Spectrum's Cassie Simeon continues our Decision 2024 coverage in Mankato, Minnesota. Cassie, you're there on the ground in the state where Governor Tim Walz currently serves. You've spoken with people who know Walz personally. What are they saying?
Well, there's definitely a lot of pride in this town. The fact that Tim Walz is now joining Kamala Harris at the top of the Democratic ticket. This is the town where he was once a high school teacher as well as a high school football coach. So, of course, that is coming up a lot in conversations about the Tim Walz they know and the Tim Walz we are now seeing at the national stage. And one woman that I spoke with said those two people are exactly the same. What you see on TV is what you get in person.
I think at the heart of who Tim is as a leader is being authentic. And one of the things that's been fun to watch about him is the style that he used to dress in with the flannels and how he took that, you know, to Congress, and then he took that same style to the governorship.
And one man I spoke with who also coached with Tim Walz back in the day said this has been really surreal to see him step into the spotlight at the national level, but that they've been texting up until a couple weeks ago when he was governor. So you could tell there's still real authentic friendships with Governor Tim Walz here in his claimed hometown of Mankato, where he not only was a public school teacher and coach, but also represented in Congress before he ran for governor. Carla.
Well, Cassie, he'll soon begin his first solo campaign fundraising tour through 5 key states. What can you tell us about that?
Well, his first solo engagement is going to be a union event, which makes sense because he was once a part of a union as a public school teacher. The next few events are going to be more closed-door events. They're going to be fundraising, trying to continue to raise his profile at the national level. Because remember, Carla, he was just named the running mate for Kamala Harris last week. Not only is he new to the public, but also to a lot of these big Democratic donors. And this is really an opportunity for him to introduce himself away from the cameras and get to know them one-on-one. So that's what he'll be doing over the next several days.
All right. Thanks so much, Cassie Simeon in Mankato, Minnesota. Thanks so much. The countdown to the 2024 Democratic National Convention in Chicago is underway as we are just 7 days away, and Spectrum is your place to be. We will have special live coverage every night of the convention right here on Spectrum News. Now to escalating tensions in the Middle East. As Israel braces for an attack from Iran, the U.S. is coming to Israel's defense. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin ordering a guided missile submarine to the Middle East and directing an aircraft carrier strike to speed up its journey to the region. Spectrum's Daniel Grimes is in Washington with more on how this is all intended to send a clear message.
National Security Council spokesman John Kirby said Iran or one of its proxies could attack Israel any day. On Monday, President Joe Biden spoke to his counterparts in Europe to discuss the need to defend Israel. Underscoring the threat, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin ordered the USS Georgia, a nuclear-powered submarine armed with cruise missiles, to the region. The Pentagon rarely reveals such sub-movements, so Austin's public directive appeared intended to send a clear message to Iran.
Don't do this, because you are now calling upon, you will be having the United States respond, and we will respond in a way you may not anticipate.
Tensions in the region are extremely high after Israel killed a top Hezbollah commander in Lebanon and the political leader of Hamas was killed in Iran. Israel has not claimed responsibility for the death of the Hamas leader, but Iran has vowed to retaliate. Hezbollah fired around 30 rockets toward northern Israel on Sunday night, according to the Israeli Defense Forces, but there were no reported injuries. Even as the Biden administration beefs up American military presence in the region, it is still calling for peace.
We obviously don't want to see any kind of attack or response happen in the first place.
The rising tensions in the region have complicated Biden's push for a ceasefire in the 10-month war between Israel and Hamas and the return of Israeli hostages held by Hamas. Last week, Kirby said the chance of a ceasefire was as high as it's ever been, but on Saturday, an Israeli airstrike on a school in Gaza killed dozens of civilians. Israel claimed Hamas militants were sheltering there. On Sunday, Hamas indicated it may boycott ceasefire talks scheduled for Thursday. Still, Biden says peace is possible.
And I'm working literally every single day to see to it that it doesn't escalate into a regional war, but it easily can.
The ceasefire plan Biden has been discussing would include the release of hostages held by Hamas, the full withdrawal of Israeli troops from Gaza, and eventually an end to the war and the rebuilding of Gaza. It remains to be seen what, if anything, will happen on Thursday. In Washington, Daniel Grimes, Spectrum News.
The White House announcing a new proposal targeting corporate practices. How the Time is Money plan aims to benefit consumers. Just ahead on Spectrum News.
Spectrum News Plus. News from a new perspective, dedicated to refreshing storytelling and empowering communities across the nation. With balanced reporting, providing real context and in-depth coverage 24 hours a day.
Here's a look at your forecast across the country.
Local stories, connecting communities. We are Spectrum News Plus. Streaming now on the Spectrum News app and free with your Spectrum subscription.
At Spectrum, we know that internet is a vital tool to help you fulfill your dreams.
My dream is to become a video game developer.
My dream is to get my online college degree. That's why Spectrum has affordable solutions to keep you connected. At Spectrum, we are committed to delivering reliable, affordable internet and unlimited mobile to keep you connected to what matters most to you.
When I never graduated from high school, I realized I wanted to go back to school because I didn't want to work these back-breaking jobs the rest of my life. With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed to come back to school. I felt accomplished, made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I'm meteorologist Ian Cassette. A round of severe weather will be possible along with just generally unsettled weather in the plains on Tuesday, especially early on in the day where we have a level 1 risk that extends far east to Kansas City, includes Denver and Salt Lake City. And this is coming from a slow-moving system that is going to be passing through. That'll be the early morning hours of Tuesday, drifting across Kansas, and then storms likely from Kansas City into the south, where heavy rain is certainly on the table. This system will fall apart as it moves to the southeast, but then we get things going again on Wednesday early on the day. Storms from Nebraska to the east into Missouri, where we may see inches of rain come down with these storms and the risk of severe winds within any of those isolated severe thunderstorms. But the futurecast rainfall shows that there will be areas that may get over 2 inches of rain in Kansas and into Missouri with this unsettled pattern. So because of how saturated the ground is in this region, there is a level 2 risk of flooding for Kansas City and much of the state of Missouri. What about the heat? Well, at least temperatures are cooler in this region and to the northern half where the front is to the south. So if you're south of the front, 98 degrees and into the triple digits. That's what you can expect in Texas and into Florida on Tuesday. Not much better on Wednesday as that summer heat continues. Heat advisories will be likely from Tampa to San Antonio, and we're going westward into the 90s. The desert Southwest feeling plenty hot. So we are going to remain very warm in the south. Pattern will remain stagnant, but we do have some intrigue in the tropics. We have tropical storm Ernesto now that has developed and is going to be threatening the Caribbean islands here over the next 48 hours. With this storm, we'll watch this closely through the islands, Puerto Rico under a tropical storm warning as well. We'll talk about this and also talk about where this system will be heading if it's going to threaten the lower 48 in the next 10 minutes on Weather on the Ones.
If you're just joining us, here's what you need to know. Donald Trump is expected to hold a live conversation with Elon Musk on X Monday. It comes after the former president posted on the platform for the first time in nearly a year. Meanwhile, the Democratic National Convention is 1 week away. President Biden is expected to deliver a speech, which the White House says will highlight party unity. And in the Middle East, Israel braces for an attack from Iran. The U.S. is coming to Israel's defense, ordering a guided missile submarine to the region. And that's what you need to know this evening. We've all been there, sitting on the phone or in front of a computer for hours trying to cancel a subscription or get a refund. Well, the White House has an ambitious new plan to go after those everyday headaches. White House officials say the new initiative, called Time is Money, targets corporate practices that they say only exist to waste your time and boost profits. Spectrum News spoke with Chad Maisel, a member of the White House Domestic Policy Council, with more on the goal of this plan.
It really represents a whole of government effort to crack down on all of the different ways that companies, whether it's through unnecessary paperwork, useless chatbots, and the whole slew of other headaches and hassles, make life more difficult.
Some business advocates are against the effort, saying it's an attempt to micromanage pricing structures. Crews began demolishing a Texas church Monday where a gunman killed more than 24 members during a service in 2017. Last month, a judge ruled the First Baptist Church of Sutherland Springs to be torn down. The ruling came after some families filed a lawsuit hoping to get a new vote on the building's fate. Authorities say at least 26 people were killed in the shooting, including a pregnant woman and her unborn baby. A new church was built for the congregation about a year and a half later. A new law in Maine is in effect that will benefit those in the workforce. The law, which went into effect Friday, allows the state to order businesses to pay back wages and damages from missed wages. Lawmakers say it gives the Department of Labor more tools to hold employers accountable for failure to pay. The law also states the department can order employers to pay both unpaid wages and damages equal to twice the amount of those wages with interest. More than 650,000 people are estimated to be homeless here in the U.S. That's according to the Department of Housing and Urban Development. And there were more than 1,000 people experiencing homelessness on any given night throughout the state of Wisconsin in 2023. Spectrum's Cody Taylor spoke with outreach workers there who are working to reduce this number.
Good morning, Mary with Milwaukee County. Hi, good morning. How are you?
Mary Lockwood is the Downtown Outreach Coordinator for Milwaukee County. Her job is to work with those struggling with homelessness in Milwaukee's downtown area.
Granola bars? Okay. All right. I'll drop some of those off, okay?
Lockwood is checking on people that are sleeping under a bridge near Milwaukee's intermodal station.
Some people have gone into housing. Some people are really close to housing. But I would say that it has been really kind of, there's been a lot of turnover this year.
She's been working with Milwaukee's homeless population for 5 years. She says everyone has a different story, a different reason for living on the street. Despite that, she says the goal for everyone is the same.
It's super important doing this work that we are positive and we are focused on housing as the end result, because it's the only thing that ends homelessness is housing.
This man, who we're calling Josh, has been sleeping on park benches like this one for 3 weeks.
I only get $1,000 a month and it ain't enough to live on.
Okay. Do you get that in Social Security?
Yeah.
Josh is not his real name. We changed his name and hid his identity to protect his privacy. Lockwood knows most of the people living on the streets in the downtown area. She says as more people fall on hard times, she tends to see new faces.
Do you have a working phone right now?
I get paid tonight.
Okay.
By a phone.
Okay. Will you do me a favor and text me when you get your new phone?
Lockwood says the key to being good at outreach work is taking the time to listen. She says it's also important to be understanding and able to connect people with the right resources.
We are serving people because we care, and it's a long engagement. I mean, we know our folks, we are well engaged, and we are, here to serve.
Lockwood says there are ups and downs in doing outreach work. One day she will get someone the help they need, and another she will see someone starting over. She says she has the patience needed to get them on the right path. In Milwaukee, Cody Taylor, Spectrum News.
With fall just around the corner, that means pumpkin everything will be in. Coming up on Spectrum News, a farmer preparing for the season in a massive way.
Here's the deal. In this election year, people need a place to explore national issues that have an impact on their community. To understand those issues better, we're bringing together our team of local political journalists from across the country to break down what's happening. So join us every week to catch up on the key stories making a big difference across the nation and in your local community.
Watch The Big Deal with Errol Lewis Friday nights at 9 Eastern, 8 Central on Spectrum News Plus. Available on all of your favorite devices exclusively on Spectrum.
Give me one good reason why I shouldn't switch to Spectrum Enterprise.
Well, you said our services meet some of your technology needs.
But not all.
Well, maybe you have too many.
Demand better. And when they call you unreasonable, call us.
Look, I'm switching to Spectrum Enterprise because they'll be a true partner, and I can't run this network without one.
I think you can.
Our clients do it all the time.
Demand better. And when they call you unreasonable, call us.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
I'm meteorologist Ian Cassette. We are monitoring a new tropical storm. This is Tropical Storm Ernesto that is going to be threatening the Northeast Caribbean islands here in the next 24 hours. Expect to see deteriorating conditions with tropical storm warnings in effect for the Leeward Islands, and that does include Puerto Rico. So tropical storm warnings are in effect for Puerto Rico and points to the east, and this is going to be an impactful system with decent amount of rain expected. Some parts of the islands could see 6 inches or more of rain along with tropical storm force winds. Where is the storm heading? It is moving quickly to the northwest, so it will reach Puerto Rico by Wednesday early in the morning and then turn to the north. So that has been something models have been showing for a while, that they would have that north turn, and it's going to be blocked by a system over the southeast. And this is going to allow for it to intensify potentially to a Category 2 storm. You would think this is just going to be a fish storm, but there is a possibility that this storm will come very close to the island of Bermuda. As you see, the spaghetti models having decent consensus on that turn northward, but unfortunately very close to Bermuda. There's one stray, though a far unlikely situation compared to what the rest of the models are showing. So unlikely to be a threat to the lower 48. As we look at the season as a whole, we still have lots of time, lots of activity ahead of us. We are in the middle of August, but still 90% of the system, or rather of the season, still to go here. So a reason to keep watching and to definitely prepare while you can. As we look at the high temperatures in the southeast, we are going to be hot here in the coming days, mid-90s in Jackson, 99 degrees, 94 degrees in Tampa. The heat will continue. In fact, triple-digit heat in Texas. So we could have some cooler weather eventually on the way. As the system does turn northward, we might pull some northerly winds, but for the time being, hot and humid in Orlando, 96 degrees on Wednesday with a chance of storms. Where that nice weather is right now is the Northeast and into the Great Lakes. 83 degrees in Green Bay, 78 degrees in Syracuse. Feeling much better here on the cooler side of a front that has been slow moving and very stagnant. But in Rochester, how about 82 degrees on Wednesday, 83 degrees on Thursday. Great weather here that is expected to last to the end of the week with lots of sunshine while the Southeast continues to bake in that summer heat.
USA Gymnastics says the appeal to restore the bronze medal to gymnast Jordan Chiles in the floor exercise has been denied. The team was notified Monday, saying it was told the rules itself do not allow for an arbitral award to be reconsidered even when conclusive new evidence is presented. Team USA says it will continue to pursue the case. As it stands now, it's unclear how long it could take for this appeal to work through arbitration. It's also unknown if Chiles has already returned the medal. Fall is right around the corner, and that means it's nearly time for pumpkin everything. That includes actual gourds and pumpkins, which come in all shapes and sizes. Spectrum's Desiree Goslin spoke with one Ohio farmer who has been growing giant pumpkins since he was a boy.
I'm 55, been doing it since I was 10.
Jerry Rose is passionate about growing giant pumpkins. He's been growing them for the last 45 years.
On average, 6 a year, so you can figure that out. 300.
The ones in his greenhouse are already over 1,000 pounds, and they continue to grow.
Should be around 1,300 pounds, and it's growing around 35 pounds a day.
Growing these giant gourds takes a lot of time, attention, and know-how.
I've been working on this soil for over 20 years. Lots of compost, lots of water. Right now, in fact, I just finished watering before you got here. Each plant gets roughly about 100 to 120 gallons of water a day. So there's 6 of them in here. You can figure that out, 600-700 gallons a day. A little bit of fertilizers, not a lot.
He has a special method.
I'm one of the only people that are growing in a high tunnel greenhouse. This is my 3rd year of doing that. Doing it for protection from the elements, and I can control exactly how much water I'm putting on, I know. And if we get bad storms, one of the most detrimental things to these things is high winds. As you can see how big the leaves are, they're like umbrellas. And if we're going to get a bad storm, I can close this thing up tight, keep the wind out.
When he's finished growing them, Rose says he takes them to different fairs and sells them at fall festivals.
I said the first show I will probably go to will be Canfield Fair, which is always Labor Day weekend. We bring them in, I think, the Tuesday before the Canfield Fair to get weighed in. Then after that, our next bigger shows is we have one at Parks Garden Center right there, just outside of Canfield. We have shows in Columbus, down by Dayton, near Pittsburgh. I can even go up into New York and Michigan if need be.
Rose says when his kids were younger, he would keep one of the pumpkins and carve it into a giant jack-o'-lantern. For Spectrum News, I'm Desiree Goslin.
I'm Carla Retta. Thanks so much for watching. Your Spectrum News in 90 is coming up right after this short break. Stay with us.
At Spectrum News, we're committed to strengthening the fabric of local communities through our reporting, with stories that inspire and news that matters. Streaming live on your smart TV and connected devices, plus on-demand weather forecasts. It's all there as you step outside with the Spectrum News mobile app, keeping you informed and in the know throughout your day. Spectrum News Plus, local stories, connecting communities. Exclusively for Spectrum customers. Now available on your favorite devices.
At Spectrum, our workforce of over 100,000 employees are all located right here in the U.S. You can find them in our stores, in the field, and in our call centers with 100% U.S.-based customer service. Our team works hard to provide the towns, cities, and neighborhoods they live in with the reliable services that everyone counts on, making us one of America's most trusted companies. We're Spectrum, creating jobs and opportunities across the country, and proud to be 100% U.S.-based.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Never gonna let you go.